1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, Kings and Queens. Thank you for joining me today on Believe in Yourself Tuesday. I'm your host, Lakina Fulks, and if this is your very first time tuning in, let me just give you a little background on why this show was created. It was created to uplift, inspire, and motivate all people to believe again, believe in you again. This is the month of February, Black History Month, and we want to celebrate that as well. February on our show, we're going to talk about passion. What is your passion and what are you passionate about? Last week, we talked about passion and helping others. And this week, we're also going to talk about passion in business and helping develop business. So, I want to talk about that's one of my passions, helping people with their business and business just in general. So, I'm a business owner and I help people also with their business and coach them through their business. And I really enjoy that. I love seeing their success and just them walking through each and every step and then realizing, oh my goodness, I can actually do this. And they start to believe again. A light bulb goes off. And for me, it's just awesome to see and the different success stories that I've been involved in. I'm so grateful for that. So you must be passionate about your business. If you're in business, if you desire to have a business, that's something that you need to be passionate about for your business to really succeed. Now, right now, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And when I come back, I have a very special guest who's going to talk about some business. I'll see you when we come back. Well, welcome back to Believe in Yourself Tuesday. So, I have a very special guest with me today. I have the beautiful Genesis Maple here.
Hi.
Hi. So, Genesis is a director of spiritual life at Spring Arbor University, and she is the CEO of Genesis Advertising and Public Relations Firm, LLC. And I'm so honored to have her on my show today. She's a young millennium, and she's out here and she's doing her thing. So, we're going to talk to her about a lot of things that she's doing right now. So, Genesis, welcome to the show.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yes. So, Genesis, describe to us in one word, who is Genesis?
Great. I think that's a phenomenal question. I feel like when people answer this question a lot, they always talk about what they do. And we are not human doings, we are human beings. And so I want to say that I am a passionate person. That's how I would describe myself, who I am, a passionate person.
Okay. Passionate.
Yes.
And I really like that because as you guys know, this is February and we're talking about passion.
Awesome.
And one word to describe Ms. Genesis is passion. So let's get right into it. So tell us, Genesis, what drives you every day for your purpose, with purpose? Like, what is it for you, your purpose and fulfilling your purpose, and why?
Why? I think what drives me is knowing that the effect that my life has on other people. And that it's not about me. I think that was really something I had to kind of deal with as I begin to walk more in my purpose and my calling, was knowing that this was not just about me, like it was bigger than me. And it can affect people, people that I may not even ever talk to, my life, my story. And so I think that's, God working on the inside of me to give him glory ultimately. So that's what drives me.
Okay, great. So Genesis, tell us one of the things that you feel your purpose is here.
One of my purposes I feel here is to reach, my generation, whether that is through the way of the marketplace, ministry, literature, and other things that I'm involved in as well.
Okay. And would you say your purpose, all those great things that you said, would you say that passion plays a big role in fulfilling your purpose.
Oh, most definitely. If that is literally, I believe that it takes the passion to drive it, because there are times where I don't feel like doing, like, feel like getting up, or feel like putting this on, or feel like being a part of this. But that's what it's what I was born to do, what I was created to do. And so when that passion comes in, that's the passion. It sticks and it stays. It helps me to keep going. It's my motivation, is the passion. Yes.
Okay, yes. And we know that passion and desire, as I always say, is that fuels our success and our moving forward when we don't want to do things, when we just don't want to get up and we don't want to continue. But that passion and desire, that helps motivate us.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yes. So describe, in your perception, what love and passion means to such a young lady as yourself.
I think those are two things that are separate entities, but they go hand in hand. I think a lot of people like mix them up. I think love comes from our hearts, and I think passion can come from our hearts too.
Right.
But love is something like, I love to do this. I want to see myself doing this. But as the passion, that's what, like we talked about, feeling it. That's what fuels the love that I have. It's like, okay, because once I start doing it, I mean, like a lot of people, they love to cook or they love to write, but they never step out and do it because there's no passion there.
Right.
And I think passion starts with a stirring. It starts with somebody believing in you. It starts with, being in prayer. It starts with all kinds of stuff. It starts with, your mom talking to your dad talking to you. It starts with something to feel. It's like the fire. It's like you have the like a fireplace, you have the wood all there, but there is nothing there to ignite it. And that's what we want to build, fire, and have fire. And that's the passion that we need behind anything that we do.
Yes, that's great. And I definitely see the passion and fire as you're talking about it. That's great. So tell us, what is it that specifically that you're passionate about? Is it writing? Is it your business? Is it school? Is it just, growing up in life and developing this awesome woman? Is that something that's, you're just like, wow, this is so awesome? Or is it church, family? What is it?
So I think I'm passionate about a lot of things. I would say one of my passions is prayer. Okay. People, so like relationships. I'm really big on my relationships. I really value relationships. Okay. Another passion is my family. Okay. And another passion is to learn. Okay. I have a really desire to learn, and not necessarily in school, but just to learn, to continue to grow and have self-development.
Okay. All right. So tell us a little bit about your family.
So I have my mom and my two brothers, and my mom comes from, my mom's side of the family is like huge. And so I have a lot of cousins, a lot of aunts and uncles. So I have like a big family. I've been around a big family, and we've been very family oriented. And I'm also the oldest amongst me and my brothers, and I'm the only girl. So I think that plays a factor into how I was developed and how I act in the earth today. Just like being the one that's kind of felt like you are responsible for a lot of things, or you have to like take initiative or look out for other people as we are moving along our journey. I think all those principles take effect on how I operate today.
Okay. Now, with your passion and excitement and fuel for all the things that you want to do, does that sometimes your brothers, do they catch a hold of that? Wow. Do they, want to, inspire?
I think so. I think my brother Andrew, I think when I began to develop my relationship with Christ, because I did have my own relationship with Christ before I went to college. Okay. And when he saw, me and how I was transforming as a person, I think that's when it sparked in him, like, this is like, I can achieve this at a young age. I can have this same relationship with Christ. And his own personal journey, looks very different from mine. But I believe that when he saw that, it was like a light bulb went off in his head, and that he doesn't have to be, like his friends. He can be set apart, and it is okay.
That's great, great. And I just love the fact that you have your head on, you know exactly where you're going, you see, you have vision for your life, you know your purpose. And a lot of times, when I was younger, I didn't really know my purpose. I wish I was like you when I was in my 20s. I would be so far ahead, but that's just awesome because it's not a lot of young people, young women that have that mindset right now. And so since you have that mindset now, you're just going to be awesome by the time you're 30.
Well,
so that's
yes,
so
I'm excited and so thank you for that. That encourages me because I keep telling people, or that this thing that keeps going in my mind, in my head is like, why not now? Like, why not now? Why can't I publish, why can't I produce? Why can't I start my business now? What's stopping me? Just because I'm in school, what's stopping me? So I think that was very encouraging. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm just curious. I want to know a little bit about your journey.
Okay.
There's something in that someone might need to hear.
Yeah.
Young, you have your head on straight. What was the journey? How did you get to this point? How did you get to this Genesis?
Okay. So like I said, my relationship with Christ didn't begin until I got to college. But I have always grown up with Christian foundation, always knew who God was, but did not apply that to myself.
Okay.
Just going through the mundane, like only praying at church, only fasting because I was told to. I didn't have a relationship with Christ until I got to college, and I got into a situation where I knew without a shadow of a doubt that it was only God that could save me from what I was going through. And that's when I reached out to one of my friends, and she told me to pray. And so I thought it was kind of cliche at first. I'm not going to lie, because like everybody say, just pray, it'll be okay. And I'm like, no, like this is life or death. Like I this is life or death. And so she told me, to pray. And then I had another friend come in and say, like, scriptures, like I can get you some scriptures on this, and you have to pray though. They're like, you got to do it for yourself. Like nobody could do it for me. And so I committed myself to 7 a.m. prayer 5 days a week. And I thought I was, like I tell people, I thought I was going in there for just to get my, my prayer answered and walk out. But it became so much more than that. It became a relationship. It became me talking to God now about other things. It became me interceding for other people. It became literally to the point where I wasn't just going there an hour. I was going there 3 hours a day to meet in the prayer room with God. It was phenomenal. And everybody knew, like at 7 a.m., like I'm a night owl too. So like it was hard for me sometimes, but I would still get up and I would pray and that's what showed me. And God began to open up doors. God began to show me myself, and he began to change me from the inside out. And that's when I was like, wow, like this actually works, so yeah.
So hold that thought right there. We're going to come back and talk a little bit about that application.
Okay.
What you did and how that transformation a little bit more to somebody. So right now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come right back with Genesis Maple.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi guys, now welcome back. We've been talking here with Genesis Maple, and we're going to go right back in and just talk a little bit more on the application process with your transformation to becoming the woman that you've become today, and give the listeners maybe a good tip on application when they're trying to overcome something in their life that may seem hard or difficult, especially as a young person.
Yeah, I think one of the things about my journey was knowing consistency and perseverance, and that change does not happen overnight. But it's what you're doing every day to produce that change that you desire. And that was something, because like I said, it wasn't overnight that my void was filled. It wasn't until months later that my void was filled. And so I applied those things, like I said, and I kept going at it. I kept going at it because I needed the faith. The faith too. I was like, God, like, I know who you are. I know your character now. I understand like our relationship. So like, you have to do this. Like, I don't want this. You have to do this for me because this is who you say you are. And so holding on to that and reminding God of his word and being renewed even in our minds. So like scripture, I would read scripture a lot for God to change my mind because I believe that it starts in the mind first, you know?
Yes.
And so the mind is a powerful thing, and everything I do, it starts here. So yeah, it was a changing of my mindset as well.
That's awesome. And our minds are so powerful. And I always say, you can do whatever you want to do if you put your mind to do it.
Yes.
You can do whatever you want to do because our minds, they are wired so just brilliantly. And that's just a whole nother topic, a whole nother discussion because I can go on and on just talking about the mind and the power of the mind and the brain.
Yes.
Yeah. So a little birdie told me that you're writing a book and you're going to be having a book release. And it's the House of Prayer. It's like a workbook. Tell us a little bit about that book, how they can get it, when it'll be.
Yes. So the book actually will be coming out very soon. Our pre-orders are available on my website, genesismaple.com. And the book is about building yourself as a house of prayer. The Bible declares that we are supposed to be houses of prayer, supposed to pray day and night, night and day, pray for anything and everything, come to God about everything. And so with the book workbook, as people go through it, it's a journey. It's like a spiritual journey. And it's like you go through the workbook and you will be stirred up and ignited for a passion to pray. You will be able to see results as you pray. You'll be able to see the shifting in your mind and also in your spiritual life. And you will begin to realize the heart and the mind of God and what he's saying about certain things that you desire to know more about. So ultimately, yes, you do. You have to put in the work. I'm just putting it out there at an accessible way or another way to look at prayer. So yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, how was that book? How did it ignite you? How did you get the thought to do a book? Was it during your journey, or did someone, say, hey, maybe you should write a book? How did it come about?
It was definitely a part of my journey. One day I was really consecrated. I had been praying and fasting, and the Lord, I was actually leading a Bible study at the time in my life, but I wasn't even thinking about the Bible study. I was just in prayer and fasting, and God released this idea, and I was like, okay, like maybe this will work. I was like, oh, I could do this for the girls. Like this would be so cool. Like they could pray. Like this could help us all pray, help me pray. And so I started Googling like online, like trying to find if this was like anywhere, and like I couldn't find it. So I was like, okay, fine. So I did it in one day.
Wow.
I did it in one day. And I showed the girls on my floor and they were like, wow, like this is really cool. And so my best friend, Brianna, she was like, this is a book. Like you have to make this a book. Like, and I had already received like prophetic words about me being an author, and I love to write. That's another one of my passions. And so I was like, okay, like maybe. And so I sat on it. I've had it for 2 years. Wow. I've actually sat on it. I just sat on it due to my own, not believing in myself or not thinking, people would buy it or that it was good enough and so that's when I began to write and I began to actually do it. And I also wanted I wasn't going to sell a book that I hadn't done myself.
Right.
And so I did the workbook myself, and that took a long time for me, but God began to deal with me about it and saying that it's a journey. It's a journey.
Wow.
You're going on a journey. And he said, like, even I had thought that I wasn't applying the book to my prayers, but he said, no, he took me back. He said, no, you've been applying the book to your prayer life the whole time. I was just like, wow. So yes, it was a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it took somebody else believing in me too.
Right. Wow, that's awesome. So I'm excited to get this book when it comes out, to go on the journey as well in this workbook.
Yes.
You know, we all need those new experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good, you know, you don't see a lot of young authors such as yourself. So that is something that's a great accomplishment. You should be very proud of.
Thank you so much.
Be very proud of. You should be very proud of. Okay, so our last and final question I want to ask you is, what would you say to others in your age group about pursuing their love and passion and about believing in themselves as well?
Oh, awesome. So I believe that as young people, we have to take the time to learn our passions. Like, you know, this is a time where we're young, we don't have a lot of responsibilities, or maybe we're not married, maybe we don't have children. If we do, you know, I believe you still can, but I believe it's taking the time and asking yourself, doing some soul searching, really figuring out, what are my passions? What do I really like? What excites me? And doing that for the rest of your life, and not being afraid to step out. And also associating yourself with positive people. I think that's an awesome thing, because there were times where I wanted to give up on my prayer life. There were times I wanted to give up and say, I'm not doing this no more. But it was me being in an environment, in an atmosphere that was around positivity. And so it will not let me fail. So yes, that's what I would say to the young people, is to search and find out. And once you find out, to act on it and surround yourself with positive people.
That's awesome. That is great. And that was just some inspiration for me as well. And so thank you, Genesis, for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. It's a pleasure. And so we're going to take a quick commercial break. And then right after that, we're going to come back, and I'll see you guys soon.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, kings and queens, thank you for being on the show today. Thank you again, Genesis Maple, for being on the show today as well. And if you would like to be a guest on the Believe in Yourself Tuesday show, we're actually looking for you. If you have an inspiring story that you think might be good for the show, or you just want to talk about something that you did in your life that can motivate others on an experience that you had, that where you had to believe in yourself, you can email us, and our casting director will get back with you. The email is believingyourselfcasting@gmail.com. Did you know that everything you need is right there inside of you? All you have to do is believe in yourself.